Today's video is just called Don't Beat Yourself Up. So I want to talk to you about my journey and always bring in, stories about what I've been through when I'm teaching. Just figure it's going to be have a lot more power if I can show you what I was going through and how I used what I teach in these videos in my own life. So if you're anything like me, you can probably relate to that feeling of being a bit too hard on yourself, beating yourself up for, momentary lapses of judgment, or for letting someone down, or for having times when your passion and your purpose has fallen by the wayside. And I just want to point out that it's totally normal, it's natural, it's part of life. We often have these moments of inspiration and, complete dedication towards a goal or a dream, or starting a family, or a new business venture, or changing profession. And then other times where just the demands of life just get completely on top of us, and it feels like the weight of the world's pressing down on us, and maybe we just check out for a bit. I've done it hundreds of times in my own life where it feels too heavy. It feels like there's too much on the plate, and I will just go, that's it, I'm done. This cycle for me, normally, when it's really bad, it might last 4 or 5 weeks. And then generally after 4 or 5 weeks, I get the itch again that I need to scratch. And it's either back into the next album, work on melody, lyrics, harmony, song structure for a new record, or it's one of these videos, running some workshops, or a new book. And I've just learned to accept it as part of the process. There are times where we just need to consolidate. There's times where pushing through isn't actually the best option. And then for sure, there are times where we need to dig deep, and we need to look at our behavior and make sure that, we're taking responsibility for our dreams, that we are, taking responsibility for our personality and our choices each day. Because, we all have those moments where we know that we're being a bit lazy. I know it inside myself. But the key is not to beat yourself up. I just recognize it. I just see it for what it is and go, whoop, hang on. I'm doing that thing again. Like any behavior that you want to change, anything you want to create in your life, it all begins with awareness. Awareness, like consciousness expanding or awakening, is the process of being able to see yourself almost from a higher level. Okay, to think beyond the programming that we have in our head, and to be able to self-reflect. The ability to see the dysfunction in us, or the unconsciousness within ourselves, is only possible once you start to awaken. And the majority of people are completely oblivious to this, or they would spend their life saying that it's always someone else's fault. So again, one of my favorite quotes from Carl Jung is, those who look without dream, and those who look within awaken. But we need to be able to reflect upon our state of being. We need to be able to reflect on our behavior and our limited self-talk that's going on inside our skull, and to be able to see it and then bring in some sort of pattern interrupt to change our state of being. It's just course correction in reality. We're just bringing ourselves back into a congruent state, which is, in line with what we want, with who we want to be, how we want life to be, how we want to be remembered when we're not here anymore. But the secret to all of this is to know when you need to give yourself a little kick up the arse, and to know when you've just got to be able to take it easy on yourself. So my suggestion for you is to start becoming aware of how you're spending your time, and start becoming aware of this self-talk, the little running commentary inside your head, judging and criticizing yourself and others throughout the day, to start bringing awareness into it. Then you change it. As soon as you notice this program running in your head, or this behavior, as soon as you see it and you've brought awareness into it, you can change it, because you're no longer living out of it. You are the consciousness that's observing it. And that's the first step. The more you catch yourself out, and the more you catch yourself out, the more you can start to bring in something positive, something life-affirming. If it's binge watching television, then make your pattern interrupt. Okay, when you go, whoop, hang on, I'm doing it again. I'm just sitting here watching the 4th, 5th hour of Netflix. The moment you become aware of it, make a promise to yourself that you're going to jump up and go for a 15-minute walk. You don't have to go and do 90 minutes at the gym. You can eventually, but as a starting point, small little baby steps. So just commit to saying, when I become aware, when I catch myself out, whatever it is, overeating, procrastinating, blaming people, binge watching television, whatever the personality trait is that you're not too proud of, that's not going to allow you to be who you were born to be and create the life you want to live, then bring in some behavior that you can replace it with. So for me, I'll often do breath work. I'll go for a run. I'll go to the gym. I generally don't like to meditate, because I find that I need to move the energy. I've just got to get my physical body moving. So some form of exercise, exertion is always good. And then within 20, 30 minutes, I feel incredibly inspired again, and my mindset is sharp. I'm back on point. But you've got to figure out what works for you. You've got to bring in, it's like a first aid kit. Okay, so once you see it, once you catch yourself out with that awareness that we talked about before, have 2 or 3 actions, some behaviors that you can implement, and then make a promise to yourself. You've got to actually commit to this. How do you find that commitment? That'll be for the next video. But it begins with awareness. You guys have just got to start being more and more aware of basically how we shoot ourselves in the foot, and then go gently on yourself. There's nothing to be gained out of beating ourselves up. Instead, we just see it for what it is, and then bring in an action that's pro-life, that's positive, that's life-affirming, that's something that's awesome for you, that's going to have a flow-on effect. Okay? So that's today's video. DamienHorton.com. You can find out more workshops, one-on-one mentoring, mindset coaching if you need more support. And music lovers, you can head to your favorite streaming service, put in my name, and you'll find all the music that I make. And just below there'll be a link to my new book, Limitless, Reconnecting with the Infinite Power Within. And if you need hope and inspiration and you want to know the exact steps and what it takes to change, completely become someone else, follow your dreams, and how the mind can heal the body, because I've done it, as many of you already know, then I put it all in that book. I didn't write it for me, I wrote it for you beautiful people. So that's today's video. Much love.